Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching News 9 Live. I'm Kabir Naqvi. We begin with the developing and concerning situation in Nuh in Haryana, where as tensions rise, 60 structures have been razed as part of the Bulldozer justice, leaving owners claiming that no prior notices were issued at all. The bigger question that looms, will Bulldozer justice bring the resolution that is needed on the ground? Now, in addition to Nuh, fresh violence has erupted in Panipat as well, further escalating the situation. Meanwhile, at the Gurgaon Maha-panchayat, demands to release Hindu innocent brothers and men sparks controversy. The memorandum presented includes controversial demands such as the removal of a Sector 57 mosque and an economic boycott of Muslims. Today, we delve into the unfolding developments in Nuh and the adjoining areas and try to seek and understand the implications of these actions on these two sides, the two dissenting communities. Stay tuned as we explore the impact of these events with the right kind of stakeholders. Joining us on the broadcast is, of course, A.K. Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh. A very warm welcome to you, sir. Always a pleasure to be speaking with you. And Prithvi Raj Sikka, advocate, the Supreme Court. Without wasting any more time, and we will, of course, play out reactions coming from Anil Vij and several other political stakeholders here. But my first and foremost question to A.K. Jain, the former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, with us here on the broadcast. Sir, as a DGP, as a former top cop, what are your initial thoughts in the Bulldozer justice that is being carried out in Nuh? It has led to the demolition of 60 new structures, including the hotel atop which the stones were finally pelted. How does this approach align with the principles of law and order particularly?
Khattar government has woken up after a deep slumber. All these activities were going on in Nuh for a very long time. Sand mafia is active there. Cow slaughtering is openly taking place in Nuh. Policemen, they can't dare to touch them because if they go in 5, 6 numbers, 7, 8, they will be gherowed and they will be, even weapons will be snatched from them. Ground situation in Nuh is very bad. I know people who live there, and UP police has been taking stern action against these Mewatis. They have indulged in very severe kind of road holdups in UP and all sorts of crimes. They hijack the trawlers carrying cars, tractors, and they go inside Mewat, and then police cannot recover those vehicles. So all this encroachment on government land, it should not have been allowed. The government machinery should have been active right from the beginning, in my opinion. 9 years he is CM, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar. Why action was not taken at that time? Even now, if action is being taken, I welcome it, because administration is very much within its rights to demolish such encroachments which have been made on government land. And if somebody has this feeling that injustice has been done, he can move a court of law. He can move a court of law. But
sir, but isn't it going to be a little too late?
Just a moment.
Right, sir.
This question cropped up in UP also, that why bulldozer action is being taken. There are files on each and every illegal construction. Mr. Kabir, if you do any illegal construction in UP, there will be a file in the concerning development authority. They will issue a notice, but they will not take action. So if people think that if notices were not issued to them, they are sadly mistaken. There are files on each illegal encroachment. They are supposed to keep files on such encroachments. And now, because demolitions are taking place, and demolitions are taking place of those people who have been found to have been involved in stone pelting and in communal clash, I welcome this. This should have happened long time back, and Haryana government should have woken up long time back.
All right, you know what, Mr. Jain, also at the same time, we've been in touch with Vikram Singh, who's also a former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, who was of the opinion that there are a lot of knee-jerk reactions that are now taking place in Haryana. I do agree with you, and I concede that these are illegal constructions, and the common claim by the owners that that no notice was issued to them might not hold as much of weightage. But from a very humanist perspective, there are other people living in a family as well. There are several little children, several other family members who now are out of a shelter because of this house raising. Let me take this question with a lawyer who's with us on the panel. Prithviraj Sikka, advocate for the Supreme Court, is with us on the broadcast. Very warm welcome to you, Mr. Sikka. We're talking about this bulldozer violence that's happening in Nuh. But whilst we're looking at the legal remedies of these owners who are claiming that no notices were issued to them, what's your opinion on that? Any sort of legal remedies over there under the legal lens? How do we look at this?
If any person unauthorizedly occupied the government land or other land, then there is no need of notice. If unauthorized construction, then there is a provision under Haryana Municipal Corporation Act to issue the notice for only 48 hours. So in that case, he can move to the court, not more than 3 days. And in the but here his position is different. The accused who have unauthorizedly grabbed the land of the government or unauthorizedly raised the construction and living, most probably there are living Rohingyas and this Bangladeshi and all these persons, they are unauthorized migrant to the India. So this action is justified in that case, because Haryana Municipal Corporation only issued a notice under Section 260 of the Haryana Municipal Corporation Act in respect of the unauthorized construction raised by without sanction of plan on your own land.
Right.
In this case, there is no provision, and they can demolish immediately.
But Mr. Sikka, at the same time, what about the other family members? I mean, I'm all for it. All offenders should be brought to justice by either hook or crook. I mean, that's the deal. And like Mr. A.K. Jain was talking about, Nuh has become that epicenter for all sorts of crimes, be it digital or physical. I'm saying, what about the other family members? Several other children, several other wives. Any sort of remedy for them?
No, they have no remedy, because they are also unauthorized occupant of the land which does not belong to them.
All right. Okay, Mr. Sikka, to stay on with us.
Most probably, government can put only camps and put them there.
That's exactly what I was asking. How can the government now step in and help them, support them in whatever way? That's all I'm worried about.
Government can only help the persons who are Indian citizens, but those who are not Indian citizens, migrants, and creating riots in India and unnecessarily damaging the properties, so those should be deported.
Right. All right.
This is the right
Mr.
way.
Sikka.
But due to our politics, lot of parties are interested for vote bank. So that should not be done, because in other nations you can't enter without any valid documents.
Right.
But in India, a lot of residing, and they 2-3 days earlier,
I think, sir, that's the drawback. I think that's the drawback of lending a helping hand.
Yes.
अक्सर होता है. आप अपना हाथ बढ़ाते हैं तो फिर कंधा पकड़ लिया जाता है. That's actually a pertinent point that you've put out there. जी.
In last week, I am seeing that how these people are coming to India they are coming from Malda mainly of Bengal. And they are not coming to these areas, northern India. They are entering their Nepal, then Malda, and then coming to India. And what happened that in Himachal, when they started to take action that you should vacate the land from here, after 25th July, they started to shift to Delhi and nearby areas. Up to 31st, they had given the warning. So even this warning is being given in Assam also, because these people are unnecessarily creating nuisance for the nation.
Sir, that's a larger debate. I don't want to digress the thought process of the viewers who are joining us. Let's keep our focus to the clashes in Haryana, and I'm going to go back to the
so
former
that
DGP
is,
of
I
Uttar
am
Pradesh with
telling
us
you,
with us on the broadcast, AK Jain. Mr. Sikka, do stay on with us. Now, sir, we've looked at a Mahapanchayat that's taken place in Gurgaon as well. At that Mahapanchayat, which mind you was held when there were proper prohibitory orders that were in place. This Mahapanchayat takes place and there are hate speeches that are given out. For the lack and paucity of the news report with me, I'm going to refrain from saying exactly what was heard over there, but proper calls of economical boycott of Muslims, of saying that 1992 mein bhi hum jeete the, abhi bhi hame hi jeetna hai, and of course raising that mosque is situated in Sector 57. In terms of the law and order and how procedural law and order is carried out, there is imposition of 144, prohibitory laws are there, and Mahapanchayat like this is carried out. What do you think the administration should now do? If you were in the administration, how would you look at this Mahapanchayat? Mind you, there's a bigger call for a bigger Mahapanchayat already that's been placed.
Either I will not promulgate Section 144, and if I will promulgate, then I will ensure that it doesn't take place. That area should have been converted into a chhavani, a cantonment. There should have been tents of PAC or Haryana Armed Police on that land. This kind of panchayat where economic boycott of Muslims is being called and demands are being raised to demolish a mosque, they are all ruffian elements. Action should be taken against them. If Haryana government will not take action against them, they will never be able to control law and order situation, in my opinion, in Haryana. All these clashes will keep on taking place, sometimes in Panipat, sometimes in Ballabgarh, sometimes in Sohna and other places. It should not be allowed. There should be firm handling. The handling should be in the first place. You know what is the fault you can say of Haryana government? SP Nuh was on leave that day. All the commotion was going on. There was social media warfare going on between Monu Manesar, Bittu Bajrangi, notorious criminals, and between Mayo Army and blogger from Pakistan. So why was SP on leave? If SP was on leave, then IG should have been there looking after the charge of SP, and entire route should have been sanitized.
Sir, have you heard? Sir, have you heard the memorandum? Have you heard the calls and the demands that have been made in that memorandum?
No. I have not read, but I have just read in Times of India and Indian Express that Tigra village or some village.
Right. Fair enough, sir. In the same Indian Express copy, not to put the daily at on the pedestal. In the Indian Express copy, they're talking about Sector 57 ki masjid ko kaise hata dena hai, economical boycott of Muslims and release of all innocent Hindu men. Now, in terms of the cops, the police, and the administration on the ground, how do you think they should handle the authorities? How should they handle such demands now? Given that the situation is so tense right now, sir.
They should register a case against the organizers of such a Mahapanchayat. The Mahapanchayat should not have been allowed to take place at all. And now, if Mahapanchayat has taken place, then all the bigger Mahapanchayat will take place, and there will be all sorts of nonsensical demands. We should concentrate on what is to be achieved. We have to achieve that criminals in Nuh who were responsible for brickbatting, for communal riot, should be brought to the books. They should be sent to jail. And a drive should be launched in Nuh and neighboring areas. हम लोग क्या करते थे? किसी भी law and order situation से पहले, we used to take drastic preventive action against local criminals, notorious criminals. Right. We used to book them and send them to jail.
I remember you talking about the boxing technique also that needs to be carried out in all these yatras. It needs to be a box-like structure. But sir, what are going to be some potential implications of these demands on the ground? You've been a former top cop yourself.
Nothing will happen. They're nonsensical demands. Such people are there. They will glorify Monu Manesar. They will glorify Bittu Bajrangi. They don't have national interest. They don't keep national interest in mind. They have very petty thought process, and no heed should be paid to them. And police arrangements in that area, bandobast should be strengthened. And if they create trouble, there should be cane charged. Action should be taken against them. They will all sit quietly. Action should be taken. If Haryana government wants, if Rajasthan government wants that Haryana should hand over Monu Manesar to them, he should be arrested and handed over to Rajasthan government. There should be intergovernmental cooperation between police forces and governments. Criminal elements should not be harbored by any state against another state.
Sir, I mean, it's unfortunate that we're so close to the Lok Sabha elections, and Haryana and Rajasthan ruled by Congress and BJP respectively. It's a far cry to be expecting our state governments to work in tandem. But on that note, let me go across to the lawyer with us on the panel, Prithviraj Sikka, Advocate, Supreme Court, with us. Sir, in light of the fresh violence that is now taking place in Panipat, I'm sure you saw what happened in Nuh, the arson, the vandalism, the murders that have also taken place. Amidst all of this, in terms of legal recourse, do you think the law and order is using the right kind of, laws that we have in place? Are we strategizing on the legal front, are we strategizing and putting the best foot forward?
I am just adding with Mr. Singh, whatever he has said, that these are anti-social elements. They are creating unnecessary differences in nation. They are trying to damage the fabric of the nation. So they should be booked. Strict action should be taken. Either it may be Hindu or Muslim. It has no concern. Nation is first. So I agree with Mr. Singh. That should happen and strictly deal with them. These criminals should not be allowed to run the government and to create nuisance for general public. I am telling you, we are not affected. Even some people are associated with me as a Mohammedan, and some even in a maid servant of my home is Mohammedan. But it has no concern. The persons who are peacefully living and doing earning, so why they should disturb all these persons? So Mr. Singh, whatever he has said, that is correct.
Right. And you, of course, mean Mr. Jain, Mr. A.K. Jain with us on the other side, sir.
Mr. Jain. Sorry.
All right. Mr. Jain, at the same time, another important aspect that one has to look at is the Panipat violence. And when we're looking at the Panipat violence, we're looking at the Nuh violence, the kind of destabilized situation. Would you agree with what Vikram Singh said a couple of days back, that these are nothing but knee-jerk reactions just to show people that the government is trying to do something? And it's no news that it's a little too late, but are these steps the best steps that the government could possibly take right now?
They are knee-jerk reactions. That's why I was saying that Haryana government has woken up after a very deep slumber. These actions should have been taken long time back. I have been to this area. No, you can't imagine that that area. You feel very insecure. Even as a police officer, you feel very insecure if you go to that area. But such actions are required to what can I say, calm down the charged communal atmosphere in the state. Because if action is not taken, people will start taking law in their own hands. So my government has to show the people that the people who vitiated the communal atmosphere, very stern action is being taken against them, and it should continue, in my opinion, for some time. I had recommended that the ATS headquarters should be opened there because it is full of cyber criminals. It has surpassed the Jamtara, Nuh area, and it is full of criminals. Action should be taken against criminal elements so that the other law-abiding people, they stay peacefully in that area and they should not be disturbed. But you cannot allow a place it is, in my opinion, just noted, it is one of the most criminal areas in the country at the moment, Nuh area. And government and police department is also responsible, in my opinion, for creating such a situation where they think they can get away with anything. That's why they indulged in all this kind of violence and nothing else. Lesson should be taught to them. Otherwise, there will be skirmishes, there will be such troubles in various parts of Haryana. Haryana should not be underrated. It has communally charged atmosphere. in UP, we used to take utmost precaution that no incident should take place. And if incident used to take place, we used to take such drastic action that we used to curb it. We used to prevent it at that place only. No one used to be allowed to get away with it. Even if there was political interference, and
All
then
right,
naturally
all right.
things will remain quiet
Sir,
all over
sir,
the place.
sir,
But if
you're telling
you
us-
have this kind of violence, you are creating trouble for the entire state.
Sir, Mr. Jain, you're telling us that the Haryana government has now woken
I'm
up
not
after
getting
a-
your voice. Hello.
Can you hear me now, sir?
No, yeah.
Well,
Yes.
we'll quickly fix that up. If you can hear me, you're talking about how the Haryana state government woke up from a deep slumber after a very long time. I'm here asking the question, it might be still waking up, but has it gotten up yet? Has it gotten up? Because take a look at this. The gym trainer, who's a BCom graduate and 4 school dropouts, the Gurugram accused in that particular case where they murdered the imam in the mosque, wanted revenge for Nuh, and it was a planned attack. The accused in the Gurugram mosque attack and Naib Imam murder case was pre-planned, the assault, and wanted to take revenge for the 31st July communal clashes in Nuh. This is what the print has learnt, and the print has put out. High-level sources in Haryana police confirmed that the accused got together and formulated a proper plan of attack, collected weapons, and specifically targeted the Anjuman Jama Masjid in Gurugram's Sector 57, for which the removal for which the demands of the same have been placed in the memorandum of the Maha-panchayat. I mean, isn't the Haryana government still waking up? You knew that Nuh was so sensitive. You knew that it was delicate to go there. You are telling us that even as a cop you feel unsafe in a place like Nuh. Then why are we still waking up? What more needs to be done on the ground, sir? If these collected attacks, these proper thought behind conspiracies are going to take place? Mr. Jain, are you with us? Can you hear us?
No, I cannot hear you. Hello.
Well, we'll try and fix that up. In the meantime, there's a reaction coming in from the police authorities in Nuh. Let's quickly listen into that.
उनसे बात की है और उनकी तरफ से यही है कि हमारा जो कर्फ्यू है थोड़ा सा रिलैक्स कर दिया जाए। साथ ही साथ हमारा तरफ से जो भी हमारे तरफ से सहयोग चाहिए होगा, चाहे क्रिमिनल स्नैप करने के अंदर, चाहे कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग मेजर के अंदर, वी आर देयर। ठीक है, हमारी तरफ से आप हेल्प लीजिए। साथ ही साथ हमने अभी जितने भी और कम्युनिटीज़ ने जैसे हमको ये रिप्रेजेंटेशन दिया है कि मार्केट का समय आप बढ़ाइए, तो वी आर टेकिंग इनटू इट। साथ में जो बैंक्स खोलने की बात कही है, वी आर टेकिंग इनटू इट। एसेंशियल सर्विसेज हैं, जहाँ कहीं पे सारी एसेंशियल सर्विस हमने ऑलरेडी ओपन कर रखी, चाहे दूध और साथ में साथ जहाँ भी इस टाइप की जगह कोई मैसेज आ रहा है कि कहीं पे कोई एसेंशियल सर्विस बंद है, तो वो हम इसको करेक्ट करवा रहे हैं कि कहीं कोई एसेंशियल सर्विस क्लोज नहीं रहेगी। इंटरनेट सेवा अभी हमारा रेस्ट्रिक्शन चालू रहेगा। अभी 8 तारीख तक हमने रेस्ट्रिक्शन कर रखा है। जैसे भी हमको लगता है, क्योंकि मैक्सिमम जो यहाँ पर जो समस्या पैदा हुई है वो पैदा हुई थी जो कि फेसबुक के द्वारा या फिर जो वायरल सोशल मीडिया के द्वारा गलत इन्फॉर्मेशन के कारण से मोबिलाइजेशन हुआ। तो हमारा यही है कि इस मोबिलाइजेशन को कम करने के लिए और लोगों में जब तक कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग ना हो जाए, लोगों में एक यकीन ना आ जाए, इसको थोड़ा सा हम कंट्रोल करेंगे। डिमोलिशन वो तो पार्ट ऑफ वो है जहाँ पर एनक्रोचमेंट ड्राइव है या कोई भी आपका क्या नाम बोलते हैं कोई ऐसा मटेरियल यूज किया उसके ऊपर है।
For those joining us, we have Prithviraj Sikka, Advocate Supreme Court, and A.K. Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, with us on the broadcast. Mr. Jain, I was just asking you that question कि मामला कुछ ठीक नहीं लग रहा। महापंचायत में डिमांड हो रही है कि कैसे वो 4 इनोसेंट हिंदू भाइयों को रिलीज कर दिया जाए। प्रिंट और दूसरे मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स बता रहे हैं कि कैसे वो अटैक जो इन्हीं 4 लोगों ने उस मस्जिद में किया वो कितना प्री प्लान था। इट वाज सो वेल थॉट आउट एंड स्ट्रेटेजाइज्ड। दे कलेक्टेड वेपन्स, देयर वाज प्रॉपर अमाउंट ऑफ पीपल ऑन आइदर साइड, एंड देन दिस मर्डर वाज कैरिड आउट एज अ रिवेंज एक्ट फॉर व्हाट हैपेंड एट विद द यात्रा ऑन द 31st of July. बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है. It seems like we're missing out on a lot of steps. So when you said that the Haryana government is waking up from a deep slumber, I'm only asking the question, do we know for a fact if it's woken up or it's still in the process of waking up? And what more does need to happen on the ground?
Whenever you have this kind of trouble, the trouble which you had at Nuh, it has to have repercussions at other places. UP is a highly communally surcharged place as compared to Haryana. It has a past of communal tensions, massive communal riots. We used to take this precaution. I am really surprised that if such a procession is being taken out and there is so much of ruckus on social media, so many posts on social media, then how can SP be sent on leave? Then why the entire route was not sanitized? Why drones were not deployed? Why the search was not taken of rooftops? Why there were no rooftop deployment done? I really fail to understand what was being done. There was free for all for a few hours in Nuh. Naturally, if this kind of policing takes place, if this kind of administration is there, there will be retaliatory attacks at other places also. There are places which have Hindu majority areas, there are places which have Muslim majority areas. If they get a feeling that in Muslim majority area this has been done on our Hindu brothers and sisters, then they will start retaliating at other places. So you have to stop all these activities. You have to maintain law and order with an iron hand. I always believed in this. Throughout my service, I used to remain at the spot all the time till the procession used to be over. And if somebody was trying to create nuisance, he used to get the hell out of us. So whatever happened in Gurugram is very unfortunate, and it should not have been allowed. Stern action should be taken. The action which you are taking in Nuh should be taken against the perpetrators of Gurugram violence at other places. This is the only way to control law and order situation. There should be absolutely fair functioning. Absolutely fair functioning. हमने जब 1979 में when I joined UP Police as IPS, एक ही बात थी, दंगाई की कोई जात नहीं होती. हम उसी उस पे काम करते थे. हिंदू हो, मुस्लिम हो, सरदार हो, कोई हो, जिसने बदमाशी करी उसको अंदर करिए, book him under a National Security Act, under Gangsters Act, and he will be all right. And a message.
और सर आप ये भी कह रहे हैं कि ऑन द ग्राउंड इस समय ऐसी सिचुएशन की दरख्वास्त है जहां पे दंगाई की कोई देयर इज नो जेंडर और रिलीजन फॉर दीज राइटर्स,
कोई जात नहीं होती, कोई जात नहीं.
दिस इज व्हाट इज लैकिंग ऑन द ग्राउंड.
जो बदमाशी कर रहा है उसको क्रश करिए. आप उसको इतना स्टर्न एक्शन लीजिए. वहां पर जो मॉस्क है वहीं पर आप हरियाणा आर्म्ड पुलिस का टेंट लगाइए. मैं होता तो वहीं पर टेंट लगा देता. वहां पर जहां पर पंचायत होनी थी वहीं पर टेंट लगा देता. कैसे हो जाएगी पंचायत? लाठीचार्ज करिए.
At the same time, it's quite appalling to see that there is proper security arrangements when the Mahapanchayat is being carried out, but what is being said in the Mahapanchayat, nobody is paying any heed on that. Also with us on the broadcast is Mr. Sikka, Prithviraj Sikka, Advocate, Supreme Court. Sir, some final questions that I'm taking with the gentleman with us on the panel. How can the law enforcement agencies work in tandem with legal professionals? And from your experience, what are some successful legal strategies that can be used in these kind of similar cases? Because we've seen the memorandum take place, and in light of the fresh violence, how can these two work together? Any ideas, any opinions, sir? Mr. Sikka. Well, it seems like we've lost connection with Mr. Sikka. We don't have him with us on the broadcast. We're going to quickly try and patch him back. Meanwhile, A.K. Jain, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh. Sir, you know what we're learning just now? What we're learning is that the High Court has put a stay on the demolitions that are being carried out. This is what we're learning at this point in time. Mr. A.K. Jain, your opinion on the fact that demolitions have been stopped in Haryana's violence hit Nuh after the High Court's order. The Deputy Commissioner, Dhirendra Khadgata, asked officials concerned to stop the bulldozer action following this particular ruling. So that's exactly what we were talking about, Mr. Jain. That, on the one side, sir, you have people who are saying that hame notice nahi mila. On the other hand, the state government says this is not bulldozers running on those who were accused, but on the other hand, it's on those who are constructions that have been built on illegal grounds, on illegal constructions at all. Punjab and Haryana High Court stops demolition exercise. Nuh bulldozer action has been stopped. Your first viewpoint, sir.
it should be stopped. If there is Haryana High Court order, state government should put before Haryana High Court their strategy, why bulldozer action was being taken, what all they were doing to remove the illegal constructions which had been carried out over a period of time on government land, how much of government land has been freed, and then they should seek further orders of Haryana High Court. Until that time, and nothing should be done. And there are orders of Supreme Court that no such panchayats should be allowed where religious feelings are being what can I say, such illegal demands, removal of mosque and economic boycott of Muslims. All these panchayats should be banned throughout Haryana, and it should be strictly enforced also.
And sir, your opinion on the fact that this demolition drive, the bulldozer justice that is being carried out in Nuh, mind you, it's the 4th day of this bulldozer justice, near about 60 plus constructions have already been razed. Now the demolition drive had come under criticism. Now that it has been put on a halt by the High Court of Punjab and Haryana, let me ask you this, sir. And you can choose to not answer. I don't want to put you on the spot here, but it seems like the criticism that was doing the rounds was that the politicians started alleging that this drive is targeting only Muslims. Also, many of those whose homes were razed had claimed that there were no prior notices. That is one thing that we've already spoken about. Mr. Sikka told us there is no legal remedy in front of them. Maybe the Haryana government can come in and support people who are now out of homes and without shelter. But the criticism that only Muslims were being targeted, your opinion on that?
In my opinion, those people are being targeted who were instrumental in instigating the communal riot. The places from where heavy brickbatting took place, bottles had been collected and bottles were being thrown. So those constructions, I don't agree with this that only demolition is being demolition drive is being taken because is being carried out because
against Muslims.
They were illegal constructions. It is being done because it is suspected that these places were used for throwing stones, for throwing bottles, and naturally that's why action has been taken. But I fully agree with this kind of action. I believe in strong arm tactics. I have always believed in during 37 years of my service that no one should be spared if he tries to take law in his hands, whether he is a political person, he is a congressman, he is Muslim or Hindu. Stern action is required against such people, and only then you can maintain law and order in the state.
Absolutely, sir. And I really liked what you said in the middle of the show, where you said dangai ki koi jaat nahi hoti. There is no gender for rioters, no religion of rioters. At the same time, we've got this new walkthrough. We've got a ground report that's coming right out of the violence hit area. My colleague Puneet has filed in this ground report. Let's quickly take a look at this as well.
नूह में आज हिंसा को 7 दिन बीत चुके हैं और 7 दिन में यहाँ की जो सड़कें थी वो सुनसान थी। उस सन्नाटे को चीर रही थी तो सिर्फ बुलडोजर की आवाज़। लेकिन आज से प्रशासन ने कर्फ्यू में ढील दी है। 3 बजे तक सरकारी दफ्तर और कार्यालय खोले जा सकते हैं, एटीएम खोले जाएंगे, लेकिन नूह शहर में घुसने वाली जो सीमा है, जो मुख्य चौराहे, वहां पर इस तरीके की चेकिंग हो रही है। किसी भी गाड़ी को बिना चेकिंग के आगे नहीं आने दिया जाएगा। आप देखिए किस तरीके से एक लोगों से एक उनकी जानकारी पूछने के बाद जो है यहाँ पर जाने दिया जा रहा है।
96640056।
आप लोग कहाँ से आ रहे हैं, क्या करते हैं?
हम एसबीआई बैंक में जॉब करते हैं।
अच्छा, एसबीआई जॉब में, यही नूह में?
नूह में, फिरोजपुर झिरका ड्यूटी है हमारी।
अच्छा,
हाँ।
तो ये एसबीआई में यहाँ पर जॉब करते हैं और इसीलिए जो सरकारी कर्मचारी हैं वो लोग अपना आईडी कार्ड दिखाने के बाद ही यहाँ पर नूह शहर में प्रवेश कर सकते हैं। एक चीज़ उनका यहाँ पर डिटेल नोट किया जाएगा और देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पर बाकायदा पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स की तैनाती की गई है। जो भी लोग शहर के अंदर घुस रहे हैं बाकायदा उनके गाड़ी का ये नंबर इस तरीके से नोट किया जा रहा है। यहाँ पे उनका नाम नोट किया जा रहा है, कहाँ काम करते हैं वो, और इसके अलावा मोबाइल नंबर, यानी कि सारी डिटेल नोट करने के बाद ही जो पैरामिलिट्री फोर्स और हरियाणा पुलिस है वो इन लोगों को अंदर आने दे रही है। एक एक चीज़ों को चेक किया जा रहा है। आज से बाजार भी खुल रहे हैं, 3 बजे तक लोग अपने रोज़ाना के ज़रूरत की चीज़ों को खरीद सकते हैं, लेकिन बाहर से कोई भी अगर नूह के बाहर रहने वाला कोई भी शख्स अगर शहर के अंदर आता है तो उसकी एक एक आईडी चेक होगी, एक एक चीज़ों को चेक करने के बाद ही उनको अंदर आने दिया जाएगा। सिक्योरिटी के पुख्ता इंतजाम किए हुए हैं और इसीलिए अभी भी नूह के तमाम जो चौराहों पे हर जगह इस तरीके से बाकायदा पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस को अत्याधुनिक हथियारों के साथ यहाँ पर खड़ा किया गया है, ताकि किसी भी तरीके का कोई जो दंगाई है, कोई बलवाई है, वो यहाँ से ना जाने पाए। और लगातार जो पुलिस की गाड़ियां हैं वो नूह की मुख्य सड़कों पर भी यहाँ पर गश्त कर रही हैं। आप देखिए कि बाकायदा बैरिकेटिंग की गई है। बैरिकेटिंग करने के बाद जो भी गाड़ियां आ रही हैं वो यहाँ पे इस तरीके से खड़ी हो रही हैं। एक एक लोगों की सबकी जानकारी यहाँ पर ली जा रही है। जो भी गाड़ी के अंदर मौजूद है उनसे पूछताछ की जा रही है, एक एक चीज़ें उनकी डिटेल नोट की जा रही है।
Well, so that's the situation currently in Nuh. Of course, we'll keep our ears and eyes on the ground, not just in Nuh and all the adjoining areas in Gurugram as well. Many thanks, A.K. Jain, former DGP Uttar Pradesh, for joining with us and helping us out with your insightful inputs. Always a pleasure, sir. And Mr. Sikka, Advocate Supreme Court, for his insightful inputs. That's all the time we have for you. But even as we wrap this discussion up, today itself, another news that's doing the rounds, and it's going to interest you as well, is that Chinese propaganda and its links have been found in India and the rest of the world, this by a New York Times' probe. But at the same time, one has to question what's really going on in the mind of Xi Jinping. He has emerged as, the leader again for the third unprecedented times. His national ambitions and his international ambitions, what's really happening inside the mind of Xi? News 9 Plus has put out a documentary. We're leaving you with a snippet. That's all the time we have for you. This is Kabir Naqvi signing off.
मैं इमरान अहमद खान